Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
So did you live on the nation or did you live in Florida? Well, later on there was farming and other than that, I'll be honest with you.
You remember the
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I lived in Farmington 20 years. That's where you live. Yeah.
Did something really great for me. I was living in Dallas. You know, we'd gotten into these fights at the line. He would show up at our house unannounced.
So my husband passed away a year ago today. So I moved to
Good evening, Aloha. We're going to start our ceremony here in a little bit, about 5-10 minutes. Get comfortable, get in your seats. We have some water, and they'll be serving water our ATOA employees.
I thought he was American.
We are live streaming on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. We are live streaming on YouTube. I just got a text just now from a coworker in Delcom. She says, don't put your nose up too much.
Yeah, like Alice Peru lived in like
29 years.
Is she still around?
Yeah. Hey, this is a good package you can get.
Yeah, I knew Alice.
I lived in Navajo for 20 years. We moved to, yes, would you like to buy it? We moved in 1998 from Lubbock, Texas. And worked with supplemental insurance with Aflac and Mass Mutual life insurance. And so I take care of the Navajo schools here, take care of their supplemental benefits and insurance. So when we moved to Farmington, you know, from Lubbock, Texas, we had no idea that we were living on the edge of the nation. It has just been a blessing. Larry passed away on the 24th.
You know, I lived in
I told him, this is where I want to be with my family on that day. That's this is where I want to be. So loved.
You know why I
So
didn't
loved,
stay?
you know, everybody.
I think I dated everyone.
But I lived in Farmington on Dustin, right off of 30th, at Ladera School, right up from Ladera. Such a great place. Yeah.
sorry. It's terrible.
The chief of staff under Ben Sheldon. Yeah.
I'll email it to you. Okay. It's on my Facebook right now. Yeah, it's on there right
Ladies
now.
and gentlemen, Navajo Nation, Jonathan is president of Navajo Nation. Let's all rise. Let's honor our Navajo Nation president.
I'll share with you. I'll take a picture.
Sorry. Now you can sit down.
You can sit down now. Can we have everybody over from the canopies, everybody on the canopies in front of the NTOA building, come under the tent over here? I'll show that can. Put in the kitchen the lock be. Yananat a penda Iba pendi Yat ain kididi no they say Good morning each and every one of you, dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, and our NTOA staff. We would like to start our ceremony this morning. And before we start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Larry Jackson Jr. I'll be your Master of Ceremony for this morning, this evening, this afternoon. Ecuador the Lensle, into a Navajo Tribal Utility Authority, National Consumer Relations Specialist, General Manager's Office, Public Affairs, Ecuador as Balash, the story from Dave Leshpa, a call a Kahapan, Hanoya, Adoshi, Salah, so we have some armed veterans here within our Into A family, so we like to honor them this morning. Michael Hardy, United States Marine Corps veteran. Gary Cly, United States Navy veteran. Roy So, United States Army veteran. If we can all rise and stand up, we're going to post the colors, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to ask our Kayenta District Manager, Cynthia Charlie, for the invocation.
Yad ebene, ashil tsankich insaidasi, shei yaharva Cynthia Charlie dashijnido, ada turich nishna deschini bashichin, not open that touchine, dashinal dot watsane, dashiche, ada kadotzin, she ebehadesi. Ada anhin citizen shish watch a behat of the Kadoshi ada ditni. Hello, York guys, Biage and Schlandische, Adashmana, Sashi Taya, this Ewan, that's Eki, not answer, not Nike, Kadadinski, if you guys are slinky away Schlandische. Kadodon, Mikik Ein Khania, Ada Konki last Sordon Khania, Ada Konkinant, Adam Lini, Adam Hindi, Mr. Walter Hasi, the management board, Ada. Slash you there, Mikinat Ani dan Lord District Manager Beda, it's really couldn't has cut. Ada Kadomo, Yat Elha is couldn't snow her Ekidi no Dijin Keto Adaba Heleni, Gi Hakunkin Saga Havanit Anigi, Kodo ha Abiade, Ekodovich, a Hajan dolet, Shada Abiade, which a Hajan dolet. Abiade, which a Hajan doles, Adon, Nahoko Sebevich, a Hajan, Ashni, Yeshni, Decodo, Bevich, a Hajan, the Akin Saado, Lecodo, Nahat Atzi, Baby, Dohahila, doles, Adoko, Atzi Hassan, Eo Otne, Ina, Bejacodo, Yat El Hahila, Honshidene, Nikich, or Inigi, Yat El Ebaban, Sea Kiss, Yat El Ebanis, Nishtolet, in his legal. Nankis ao be in isole kado ke yo nebe be his lago kum yat his la hojistole kado kadin it hin ka o ya yos kada kum bakawa tina hoy Nishavan Nishali Nazir Adon Nishamadon Khachin Nazdaj Injina ya bandita Kadai na ya nezin la kadon hak nila nastan nelta dole kadai hojan ya his nast adole Dak ebed ay yo nibelt ehnit dole kadon khandal nishigi Kadan daha shohagi adat khodayen nishi git khoch etas nigin dal nishi perfechi gen dal nishi nar sofer ke den nigin da shoche yad aych yadal tio hon nijnor kan da jahabik e kan da jahayan dal nishton der kada enjinor hilnast adoler gadishna kada diendine kada esi dots adoler yad aych ke adoler hada hajanasle dal.
Thank you for Cynthia. I'll sit down. Thank you for that nice prayer, good humble prayer. And then our veterans bringing, posting the flags. I don't kiss Allah, so she's the Allah, so we thank you for your services, armed veterans. I'd like to give the floor to our NTOA Management Board Chairman, Mr. Sidney Bob Dietz II.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Well, yeah, that's right. My name is Sidney Bob Dietz II. You can tell I'm an actual, honest-to-God Texan, because my middle name is Bob and not Robert. So I'm the real thing. I asked my father when I was a kid, why did you name me Bob, not Robert? And he said, well, Robert, that's a city name. So that's what I'm left with. And I'm a real Texan, but I'm also Navajo. My clan is Bitterwater, born for Anglos. And I live in California now. I was raised in Texas and lived out here for many years as well. I'm the board chairman, and I'd like to welcome you and say that to everybody. I really appreciate you being here. It's a big crowd. I like to see that. I was thinking about our old headquarters building, and I am a cheapskate. I don't like to spend a lot of extra money. The jacket costs $15. That's about my upper limit, and I felt like the building kind of fit that kind of frugal aspect of NTUA. And I liked it. I thought, this is good enough. And we were that way for years, and it took, I don't know how many, 25 years to get the building together. And I was okay with that. I was okay for it taking a little extra so that we wouldn't spend the extra money. And then the day before yesterday, I came to the building and I thought, oh, that's embarrassing. Like this is much better. This is what our employees need. This is what our employees need to do their jobs. It's the right thing. And you all probably know that I love the mixture of concrete, steel, aluminum, and glass. Anything that's made like that, I like it. And the building is beautiful. And I appreciate all of the work that went into it. The Navajo employees and the staff did an incredible job getting it together. Lots of input from all of y'all, lots of ideas, and it looks like you're inhabiting the place already in a great way. And it's really wonderful. And because of that, I want to thank everybody who helped us with that. And I'm not going to do a great job with all the list, but I appreciate the politicians that supported us. I appreciate my fellow board members. The leadership was incredible at NTUA. The landowners, the people who own this land. And don't talk about them just being grazing permit holders. Those are the owners of the land, and we appreciate it. And we appreciate the work that went into that. And all the folks that helped us, and our partners, the folks that lent us the money, the construction workers, the people who helped with other parts of the rights of way, all the systems that went into it. I know you guys share my love of concrete and steel, and I can see the appreciation for those arts in the building, and it just makes me very happy. I've been taking photographs of it as much as I can. They're not professional enough for my taste, but I'll get some good ones. I've been sending them to all my friends back home, sending them to my kids. My kids are very excited about it, and that's what we're here for. We talk about the next generation. I think all of us are here because we want a better life for our kids. Maybe not every single person in the room or under the tent, but most of us, that's what we want. But there's also stuff for us too, and that's what I think this building represents. So welcome, everybody. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you need anything, I'm easy to catch, I'm easy to find. And if you need help with your projects, let me know. And thank you very much. Thank you.
Cash, and I'll let Bob, thank you very much. Doing a good job too. Appreciate that. I'd like to give the floor to our General Manager of Navajo Tribal Utility Authority, Mr. Walter W. Haas.
Latte Benny, everybody. It's a beautiful day today. It's gorgeous. I want to thank everybody for coming out to see our new building. And I just want to extend my appreciation for having the honor and the privilege of being your general manager for the last 12 years. It really has been a privilege and an honor for me to be involved with this organization and to help it grow and help it change over time and to help it meet the needs of the Navajo people. We're still trying to get all of our folks taken care of. And we're working through those processes, but it's been an honor that I've been able to be part of this and associated with everybody. Back in 1959, N2A was actually created. And the reason we were created is because, to be honest with you, the utility companies that were supposed to take care of the Navajo people failed the Navajo people. It's the best way I can describe it. There was investor-owned utilities and co-ops and others that were supposed to provide services to our people, but they didn't do the job. So the Navajo elders got together, the leadership decided that for the Navajo people to get the respect and the services that they needed to create their own organization of Navajo from Navajo, so that Navajo folks knew exactly how to take care of each other and how to go through that process. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have the dollars we needed to get everybody's service as quickly as we'd like to. And unfortunately, our timeline was a little different. When the rest of the United States got electrified and water services brought to it, this area was in the control of the investor-owned utilities and outside folks. So during the 1920s, 1930s, and 1940s, while everybody else was taken care of, our people weren't taken care of. And a lot of that debt was forgiven across the United States for those rural communities. And unfortunately, that isn't the case for us. So it's taking us a longer period of time to meet all of our people's needs, but we need to do it in the right fashion so that we don't cause a man-made disaster. And I'll kind of explain that later. But I'm extremely grateful to the tribal elders, the council folks, for creating N2A. I'd like to recognize Mr. Wolf was actually here at the time and helped create N2A, creating our plan of operation. And he's been a guiding force for the utility for all the years, for 50 plus years, and that's just an amazing feat. Now, I'd like to welcome everybody to our new home, our new Hogan for our headquarters folks. It's been a long time coming. I've been here 12 years, but as the chairman said, it's been planning for much more than my tenure. It's been planned for 20, 25 years. It's just taken a long time to come together and be able to get this realization in place. And to be honest with you, I look at it not only an honor and a tribute for our own staff, which is going to honor the Navajo people by becoming more efficient and be able to work much closer together through the processes and help pay for the building. But I look at it as an honor and a privilege to the Navajo people, because this is what the Navajo people deserve. They deserve to have modern facilities, and hopefully over time we're going to be able to build all of our district offices back up. This is actually the third office. We've already done Chinle, we've done Crown Point, and this is the third office. We have plans to do Fort Defiance in our next work plan. We have plans to do the Kienta facility in our next work plan. We have plans to build a new safety and training center and also a Red Mesa office for the newly acquired Utah section of the electric utility we took over 2 years ago. So we've got a lot of plans that we want to work on. Now, NTOA basically started in 1959 as a water utility in Shiprock. Believe it or not, we only had about 6 or 8 employees, right? And we moved in the early 60s to the complex where there was already a building built that the Navajo Nation was occupying. They shut down their engineering staff and we moved in, and we've been there ever since. We've been there for more than 50 years. Imagine that? In one facility, one area, more than 50 years. So it is a long time coming, and it's really a tribute to our employees that they worked through that process and stayed with us and helped us grow and get to the place we're at today. So I want to thank everybody for that. I also, to be honest with you, I'm very proud of the employees and staff. I'm proud of our Navajo leaders, to be honest with you. All right? Without the support of our Navajo leaders in both the President's office and the Office of Vice President and at the Tribal Council, none of this would have been possible. And I'll kind of get into that as it is. I also want to thank and honor the Fort Defiance chapter for helping us get the land and helping us put this together. I want to thank our previous General Manager, Mickey Dalton. It was his family's land that he gave to us. I'm very, very grateful. When you go in the building, you're going to see the Mickey Dalton room, which is basically a large office area for meeting conferences. Our building is built in 2 areas. One is an unsecured area where you can come and go, and there's a cafeteria there that's open to the public. Right next door is the eating area and the conference room. That's the Mickey Dalton Conference Center in honor of him. The tribal governments, agencies, and other folks will be able to use that room. They'll be able to schedule that room for meetings and other things. And then the rest of the building is a secure area so that you need an ID, you come to the visitor's room and go through that. The reason we made it a secure area is because we want to be able to provide a secure area for our workforce, right? I want to make sure they feel safe and secure in the environment that they're in. So I also want to thank the management board, because without the support of the management board, none of this would be possible, right? So I'm very, very grateful for them. But I'm actually most grateful from our customers, because without the support of our customers, without our customers, we're nothing. It's just that simple. And without our future customers, those people that we still haven't been able to meet their needs yet, without those folks, NTOA wouldn't exist. And it's extremely important. NTOA grew from that 6 or 8 man operation, or 8-person operation, right, to more than 755 employees we have today, right? And I'm extremely proud, 97% of our workforce are of Navajo descent. And that's extremely important for us. And we're one of the few large employers in the area that focus on training and bringing our folks up to the standards that we need. We have anywhere between 75 to 100 apprentices at any given time because of our complex business structures. We have electric, we have water, we have wastewater, we have natural gas, right? And we have PV solar. So we have folks that are linemen that have to go through a 4-year program. We have electricians. We have master system operators on the gas side, the water side, and the wastewater side, okay? So we also have to have our own mechanics fleet, our own warehouse folks. So all of the folks, when they get through our programs, actually end up with a journeyman's card that is a federally recognized program and is recognized through the state of Arizona. And that's very important because that's essential for those folks to have that if they need to leave or go anywhere else. Now, we are a not-for-profit business. And that's really important. Our goal is to keep our rates as affordable as possible for our customers, right? Anything we make above our needs goes back into our business to keep it growing and to keep it working and functioning properly for our customers' behalf. Our district office extends all the way across the Navajo Nation. We have offices in Naeezi, Crown Point, Fort Defiance, Chinle, Delcon, Tuba City, Kienta, Red Mesa, and Shiprock. And I made sure I read that off so I didn't offend anybody and leave anybody out, right? And we purposely did that. Our offices are about an hour and a half apart from each other. The reason we put those in those areas is so that we can support those customers. We don't have to drive 3 hours during an outage just to drive to take care of their needs. And our office sizes range from as small as about 6 or 7 folks to over 100 folks in those different district offices throughout the regions. Now, as I said, the concept of making this building actually predates my arrival, and other general managers were involved in kind of starting the processes and growing through the processes. So I want to make sure I thank all the folks that were involved in the process over all these years, because it just took so long to put together. And I'm very much looking forward to getting our other offices up into modern standard across the Navajo Nation, and I kind of talked about where we're working on that. The new building is about providing efficiencies and scale for us so that we can do our jobs better as employees and serve our people more economically. When we were at the old site, if the engineering department wanted to go talk to finance, they actually had to get in a car and drive over, right? So that kept them from communicating. It kept them from walking around and seeing each other as much as they needed to do, and the efficiencies thereof. So I'm very excited and honored about the new building. And I just want to share 2 other places and benefits with you so you can see how we've kind of grown over time. If you could put up the slide with the office, the headquarters economic benefits slide, okay? You can see the slide out there. When we do things, one of the things we ask ourselves before we do any large projects, how is it going to benefit our customers, the Navajo people? Because if it doesn't provide a benefit to our people greater than what we're trying to do, then that's not a project we want to go forward with, right? But we also recognize that we need to be supportive of the Navajo Nation government, especially in times like this where we're going to be under stress regarding Navajo Generating Station and potentially the loss of the coal mine, right? So we have to be able to provide different ways and avenues to help not only our customers, but the Navajo Nation government too. Not only the large government, but also the local governments, right? So as an example, during this 2-year construction process, this building, we generated $1,275,000 went to pay the Navajo Nation for their 6% construction tax, okay, from the proceeds from the building here, all right? 130 employees were hired during the peak of construction. 96% of the employees that were here are of Navajo descent who built this facility. So when you actually see the facility, I don't want you to think about it as a modern facility. This facility was built by local people here, right? And that's wonderful. And it just shows you how skilled the Navajo people are. The payroll generation was $7.5 million. So those 130 employees got $7.5 million of payroll was given to them during the construction of this project. That generates about a $22.5 million economic impact in the region, right? It's not like it is in Phoenix and other places where it's a 7% or 7 times factor, because we don't have Walmarts here, right? We don't have can't buy cars here, right? But it still is an economic factor of 3, right? And our hope or goal is that we're going to have those other opportunities to spend the dollars here over time and build and grow the Navajo economy. That represents about $1.35 million in economic benefits back to the local community and back to the Navajo Nation on those dollars that are spent. Now I want to talk about 2 other projects real quick. If you notice when I talked about NQA, I didn't mention 2 of our newest endeavors that we have. I didn't mention that NQA grew into a communications business, right? It's only 4 years old. It has over 84 employees that didn't exist before. And it generates a significant revenue stream to help pay for the debt that it's created. And why that's so important is only 40% of all the Navajo's 55,000 homes have a landline telephone in them. Only 40%. So to be able to help people be able to utilize this system, we created a wireless network. We focused on areas that had no service or poor service, right? That's where we built our infrastructure. We started out, when we got the project in place, we had 43 broadcast stations, or 43 towers that communicated back to the public. I'm very proud to say, less than 4 years later, without any additional proceeds from grants or anything else, we now have 112 towers across the Navajo Nation to help the Navajo people. And that's extremely important. We've helped the Navajo Nation create the only functioning E911 systems in Tuba City, and we're helping them create it in other areas in the Navajo Nation. We're very excited about being able to provide that service. And because of those 112 towers that are out there, people can now get service in their homes where they didn't get it before. Okay? And I want to explain one difference, right? This is a pronounced difference. Since 2011 to 2018, Cellular One received over $500 million in federal subsidies to serve the Navajo people. NTUA has received $29 million. And I want to show you the difference in the footprint of what we've created by making business decisions that made sense and help serve our people, right? That's the difference between a Navajo-owned entity providing a service and a for-profit entity providing a service, right? Because I can tell you in the last 12 years I've been here, I have not seen $100 million in improvements in the telecommunications system from Cellular One. I have not seen that occur, okay? I've seen NTUA spend more than $100 million of its own money to build the infrastructure that's in place. And that's a big difference to benefit our people that we serve. Okay? The other thing I want to talk about real quick is I want to talk about Kayenta 1 and Kayenta 2. Kayenta 1 is the very first 100% Navajo-owned generating facility. Okay? It's the first Native American 100% owned solar facility in the whole United States. And I want to just talk about the benefits real quick on that. The benefit in the construction taxes that were generated from Kayenta 1, the Navajo Nation got more than $3 million in tax benefit from the construction of that facility. Each year, because all the electricity from Kayenta goes to the Navajo people, okay? The government gets about $212,000 a year from Kayenta 1 through our sales tax. That generates about a $6.4 million benefit over the 30-year life of that facility, okay? And that's important because NTUA, prior to this, didn't own any generation at all. We bought all of our generation from somewhere else. So those dollars were leaving the Navajo Nation, right? These dollars stay in the Navajo Nation to benefit the Navajo people. The payroll for that project was $5.2 million, and it generated a $15 million economic regional benefit to the communities. And there's a lot of other things that were created. We created scholarships. There's 2 scholarships that go to that community for college, and there's 1 internship a year through that process, okay? Now, I want to also talk about Kayenta 2, which is under construction. Kayenta 2 is actually larger than Kayenta 1. And because we built Kayenta 1, we could build Kayenta 2. And Kayenta 2 generated $2.2 million of tax benefit to the Navajo Nation. Because all the energy is being consumed on the Navajo Nation, the tax revenue for that project is about $144,000 a year, or $4.3 million over the 30-year life of the project. There's about $6.2 million is what we're estimating is the payroll benefit, and that's about generating about an $18 to $20 million regional benefit. And 2 more scholarships will be created for that plant, and 1 more internship focused on the Kayenta region. Okay? But I also want to tell you that none of this would have been possible without the help of SRP. Okay? SRP doesn't buy the electricity from the Kayenta Solar Project, but they buy the electricity that our customers would have used on the thermal side, right? And they get the energy renewable credit, which they need, right? And they get it in a condensed product, which helps them meet their customers' needs in the morning and the afternoon during the peak time. So it's a great, wonderful relationship. By allowing us to do this with SRP on Kayenta 1 and Kayenta 2, what it's done for us is 2 things. One is it helps me keep my rates low for my people, you know, and I need to do that. An average Navajo annual income for a person is $10,700 a year. The rest of the United States is $48,000 a year. I have to keep our rates down or people won't be able to afford them. In addition to that, these proceeds help create what we're doing right now, which is called Light Up Navajo, which is the second project I want to talk about. I also want to thank, believe it or not, the City of Sacramento Municipal Utility District. They've signed a 100 megawatt PPA with NTUA to build a solar project in California. And the proceeds from that will help keep our rates low and also help us provide electricity to people who can't afford to get electricity through future Light Up Navajo projects. That's the hope and goal. We're looking at developing more projects all in very different areas across the Navajo Nation. We've got a project we're looking at right now in Utah. I can't talk too much about it because we don't have the PPA signed. We have projects that we're looking at in the western region of Navajo for other providers. The last item I want to talk about really briefly is one of the most interesting items to me that's occurring. It's called Light Up Navajo. I was the president, chairman of the board for the American Public Power Association last year. And as part of my duties, I would go all across the United States and I would talk about the American Public Power Association, which is more than 2,000 cities all across America. And a part of that speech, I was allowed 5 minutes to talk about my home utility, okay? And I would talk about Navajo, okay? And it became a high point of all my presentations. People wanted to hear more and more about Navajo because they didn't know what was going on here. They never realized that we had 15,000 families without electricity, 18,000 families without running water. And a lot of them were appalled at that fact. And they felt that the government should have taken care of that like they took care of the rest of the United States at that time. And I explained that I've been to the federal government and local governments, and we do get some help from them. And we're extremely grateful for the help we get. But the help is not nearly enough for what we need. So I just want to give you an example. In the last 10 years that I've been here, we've connected up about 480 families per year. So over 4,800 families have been connected. When we connect an area, two things happen. Some of the Navajo people come back home, and we also have more babies, right? So we have a growing population, right? So it's not a one-for-one trade. When I connect up one person, I can't take one off the list. But we've been able to reduce the unmet need by about 3,000 families, right? Okay? Which is wonderful. That's about 12,000 people, right? 15,000 families represents about 60,000 people. The average cost to connect a family over the last 3 years is $40,000. And the reason for that is we all know this, the Navajo people like to live out where their families have lived for thousands of years, right? They don't want to leave their homesteads, right? Nor should they have to, right? Right? They have a different connection, a special connection with the land and the culture, right? They do. And we need to honor that. So we're working towards getting out there, but it's expensive. So $40,000 times 15,000 homes is $600 million. You can't build lines for 200 or 300 miles long. You need transmission and distribution out there, substations. That's about 350 million, so it's about $1 billion problem, okay? In 2006 and 2017, the average residential customer, electric customer for NTUA paid a little over $630 for a whole year's worth of electricity, for a whole year. NTUA gave them $1,500 to connect up to the system. NTUA makes about $32.50. It takes more than 40 years for NTUA to get back that $1,500. If NTUA did what some people told us to do, just go borrow all the $1 billion you need and connect up all the people, okay? If I did that and the federal government gave me the money for 40 years at 0% interest, the electric rate would go from $630 a year to over $6,000 a year. So I have 42,000 electric customers right now. I would probably have about 100 left, right? I would create a man-made disaster, right? Okay? So that's why we have to understand how we're doing things and make sure that we do these things as affordable as possible. I explained about children and the elders and the family connections as I talked all the way across the United States. After those meetings, people would come up to me from all over. They would tell me about their Native American heritage, and they would ask me how much Navajo I had. And I said, well, I don't know, my hair isn't the same color, right? But they also would say that this is wrong. These are American people, and we need to take care of our own, right? We spend billions of dollars a day killing people in wars, but we can't meet the basic necessities for some of our own people. It was wrong. One of the things I talked about in those things is, for the APPA staff is we talk about mutual aid. Mutual aid is when a natural disaster occurs in a city that's a public power city. Other cities all across the United States send people, equipment, and crews to help get those people back electricity. When I was there, unfortunately, we had lots of natural disasters. I think APPA was glad when I was no longer chairman because they're hoping that natural disasters would go down, right? But we had the Virgin Islands get hit. We had Puerto Rico get hit. If you remember, Houston got flooded, right? We had hurricanes and tornadoes in North Carolina and in Florida, right? And we had weather events, ice and snow up in the upper Massachusetts, New York, Pennsylvania areas that people sent crews from all over the country to do that. So what happened after those meetings, when we talked about that, is people pivoted off of the idea that the federal government's going to come and save us, because they realized that's not going to happen, right? And they came back, and I'm not trying to blame one administration or not, because I've been doing this for 10 years, so it's not a Republican-Democrat thing, it's not. It's not that, so I'm not saying that. But they came back and they said, Wally, why can't we do a mutual aid event for the Navajo people? That's what they said to me. Now, I got to be honest with you. I'm an engineer. I like to solve problems. I'm also a man. And I still remember how hard it was before Google came out if I had to ask directions at a gas station, right? It's hard for us to ask for help. It just is, right? And one of the things I was most afraid of, to be honest with you, was that if I asked for help and no one came, that would be a horrible event, right? It would be a terrible event. And I also recognize, being here for 12 years, the surrounding communities, certain people don't always treat us nicely, right? And I know that a lot of folks in Navajo feel that way, right? And they don't always understand that that's not the way we're viewed across the rest of the United States. So because these people came up to me and because the APPA said, Wally, I think we can do this, they gave me courage to ask for help. So we went and asked for help, and we created a pilot project program for 5 weeks long. And we originally were asking for just 3 or 4 crews to come. A crew is 4 or 5 people, linemen, right? And I told them, I can't pay you for this. I need it volunteers. And people started to sign up for it around Christmas time. It got fully subscribed around Christmas time, so we opened it up and we made it up to 5 crews. So we have people from 12 different states, from 24 different communities across the United States, are coming to Navajo to help provide electricity to people who could never afford to pay for it, right? We have people from Massachusetts and all the way from California, and we actually have some of our own neighbors. SRP has been generous and is bringing up 6 different crews over a 3-week period of time. And I'm also amazed and grateful the city of Farmington sent a crew for 2 weeks, right? We had crews from Massachusetts all the way out to California. And I wanted to give you, as of yesterday, 113 families now have electricity that never would have had. Now our hope and goal is that we get 300 families taken care of. I'm unfortunate, I don't think we'll get that many. And I believe we're going to get probably 225 to 250. And that's 225 or 250 families that wouldn't have gotten electricity, okay? Because they weren't part of our current work plan. We do a work plan out for 4 or 5 years, right? We pulled these people from the far end and brought them forward because we had these folks come out and take care of us and help us. So We're going to be honoring those folks in a meeting in front of all the APPA members in Austin, Texas in early June. And to be honest with you, two things. It's more important to me, to be honest with you, than the people getting electricity. It's more important to me that the Navajo people see that the rest of the United States cares about them and cared enough about them to come here and help us for a weekend period of time. And that's the tribute to what real America is about. So I just wanted to say thank you. Now, I believe Denise has a quick, wait, don't leave that slide, Denise. The slide up right now that you see is a bunch of companies across the United States donated dollars to help pay for the materials for these folks. The rest of the dollars are going to come from our own N2A reserves to help pay for these folks to get there. But I want you to see this. These are companies all from across the United States that donated dollars, very generous amounts of dollars. And many of our own companies that we are vendors, we buy services from, actually donated some services to offset costs or donated dollars to help these people. So I want to make sure that I honor all those companies. I don't know how many there are, because the number keeps changing, but you can see there's quite a few. So I want to say thank you to everyone. Last comment, and then we'll go to the video of people. I just want to say God bless everybody and thank you for being here. And I also want to say God bless and thank all those communities for sending their people here. And God bless and thank all those companies for providing those resources to help our people.
Thank you.
You going to do the video? Thank you. Good if I turn that off, right? Definitely don't want me wearing this when I walk in the building to go use the restroom, right?
The Navajo Tribal Utility Authority and the American Public Power Association have launched a pilot project called Light Up Navajo, which will bring electricity to homes without. From April to May, 24 public power utilities are sending their crews to the Navajo Nation to build and to connect regional families to the electric grid. This year, the goal is to reach 300 homes within a 6-week timeline. The Lee and Littlefoot families live in the western part of the Navajo Nation, and they are among thousands patiently waiting. Jimson Lee is a father of 5. Like his father, he too grew up without electricity. He remembers his dad starting the truck and running the cables into their home so they could watch TV.
I remember my dad running out, starting the vehicle just to keep the TV going. And kind of what I do here is and I started laughing to myself, oh, I remember my dad doing this. Now I'm doing it, So how come things haven't changed yet?
All Ernest and Phyllis Littlefoot want is to be connected to the electric grid so they can have a refrigerator for fresh food and an electric heater to stay warm. They've been on the waiting list for 20 years.
If we had electricity, we'd have some heater going so we don't have to, keep building fire.
20 years has been a long time.
It's been a long time, yeah. So other than that, we're just out here, just hopefully someday something will happen. I don't know if it will eventually or not.
It's a very good feeling, and to see the excitement on their faces is just, it's overwhelming, and it's very heartwarming, and it really moves you.
apparently there was an illness or something with the family, and the medicine that the child was on needed to be refrigerated. We got them that power, they've got the refrigeration they need, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to get as many people on as I can before I leave.
You know, we're setting brand new pole lines that generations in the future will, you know, be able to have power out here. So that's kind of a neat aspect. You know, you're just not building a single little pole line, as you're building something for generations to come.
So we get so accustomed to living with power and growing up with power, and you know, you never even really realize that there's people out there that don't have power. And so when you hear that, you kind of hear the background of it, you're super intrigued, and you know, you have that Lyman pride inside of you. And so when you get a chance to change someone's life by just simply, you know, providing electric to them, that's pretty awesome.
Yesterday, there was a lady and she had 3 kids, 2 younger kids, and we brought her power. She never had power her whole life, in her 40s, and then when we got her power, the first thing she said, she's like, I'm gonna go grocery shopping for a week so she can keep the food cold. And then she got all teary-eyed. It got me emotional. It was just, it's one of the best feelings I ever had in my life.
Light at Navajo will bring lighting and refrigeration, and it will pave the path for other services such as running water and communications. That's the ultimate objective, to raise the standard of life and make it a little easier. Most importantly, Light Up Navajo demonstrates partnerships for people.
Thank you, Mr. Walter Haas. Thank you for your awesome job here with NTUA. Come on, get out. I'd like to give the floor to our Navajo Nation President, Honorable Jonathan Nance. Shabbat get out there.
Well, good afternoon, or is it still morning? Good morning, everybody. Yeah, ETUA Management Board President and the Management Board members, Walter Haas, our General Manager for Navajo Tribal Utility Authority, other staff, District Managers, congratulations to the new headquarters here in Fort Defiance, Arizona. And as Walter Haas mentioned earlier, there's other facilities in the plan. And so, Walter, we're looking forward to the new facility in Kayenta, Arizona. Right? I'll come back to that, the reason why, all right? I think we saw Delegate Wilson Stewart here out of Nelson Miguel. You know, when Nelson and I were on the Budget and Finance Committee many moons ago, as they say, Nelson, Heshmas, Annitlon, Peso. Bahaya do bikidade igi ya peshmas an epitsat na ligi aje atkhani nishil on dina sos ikje kholyana benashni di pes na khato nasto di kinda do nixta noda bayada tio ishi kodo ahihe do dishnido desnasin do tkhain zito na nishila. Thank you. You know, I just look at you all here today, especially the staff, you know, your prayers have been answered, and it's been answered throughout these many years to put a smile on the people's faces out there. And, you know, many of you know my father worked for NTA for over 25 years from the Kayenta office. And he worked out of that old trailer for many years. And headquarters, over how many years at this old trailer there? And now, as I toured the facility the other day here, some of you were telling me, this is the first time I have an office. First time I have an office with a window look. And I was like, wow, you deserve it. You all deserve this nice facility, yeah. So, with any new facility, usually we expect and anticipate productivity to increase, right? So the work increase, productivity should skyrocket and hopefully continue to keep going throughout these many more years to come. So thank you so much, everyone, for your hard work and your prayers. You know, we here, leadership, we sometimes say, oh, ishla, ishla, right? I couldn't hear it, there's a hand out there, oh yeah, a travel that was, you know, Sata Dogna, a element Yavona ish in the Otaho Neseta. So Conkin Zonagan Hanita, Kodon he came in there, Yin does Nestoles, do Aro Aben Nachicon, Best Chi, the does Idoles, Nasca does Netoles, a hotel Bahajan teacher, she cation now. She is changed not at Nessani, but she's chin. The chini that should shado, touchy that should nala. So yat ed hidini doles. All everyone here, our vice president is at the Fort Lewis College commencement. How many Fort Lewis alumni and relatives of Fort Lewis College students here? So vice president is there today speaking to the students. So he says his greetings to you and he apologizes for not being here today. There's a lot of meetings today. After this, I'm going to have to sneak away real quick across the street to the Window Rock Unified School District. I think some of us leaders have to sneak away real quick. Our Arizona school superintendent, Kaufman, is there, and we want to also welcome her to the Navajo Nation. So just to let you know, so if I take off, don't get mad. And as I was touring Walter and this leadership and the staff giving me a tour of this facility, I was in awe that a lot of the sustainable development was also incorporated into this new facility. And you see the solar panels out here, right? And the whole connection of that grid to the headquarters is something that I think the younger generation is really demanding, to take better care of our land, to be stewards of our land and to help heal our land. And Walter mentioned, you know, the closure of the Navajo generating station, and even over here at San Juan generating station, the Peabody coal mine. You know, we have to look into a diverse economy here on the Navajo Nation, not just with new renewable energy, but also keeping much of our dollars here as we can. And Walter, thank you for giving us the statistics of how much of the dollars are being generated here on the Navajo Nation that goes right back into the Navajo Nation government, back into local communities, so that we can help those that can't help themselves. Did you get that? Those that cannot help themselves. That's who we should be helping first. Enough of this shut mentality, right? No, yada tikun. Kidan hina antine yahashit awe kadija. No, bani tinde kadijij binda hadis after kodoya hold net water. Zungo ya hold net dikun ndash nashigi apzagana do ani kikon NTUA yandaz nashigi aji kendaz nasho bena nashita yila ba henna agot ani skos ka ijeo do yidna yike lab ka di chatansu hagan ba da di ni kunch eta tinigi che na tinigi I want to highlight self-sufficiency and self-determination and the volunteerism that was mentioned through the presentation. Volunteerism, service, something that many of us grew up with. But today, many people are not giving as they used to, right? But we can bring that back because many of us remember helping each other out as young people. When we were out there in the fields, we would help our family members with the farms or our cattle or livestock. I remember as a young person, if my uncle was out there by himself working, he didn't ask for help. But you know, for us, we were told, right? Sometimes in a harsh way, that tough Navajo love. Go over there and go help your uncle. And we would go over there and help. That's what this whole Light Up Navajo project is all about, is to give you back. And a lot of the staff for NTUA volunteered their time. And of course we had some outside folks helping us out. But in a way, we could do this ourselves as well. Here are the Navajo Nation. That is true self-sufficiency, self-determination, sovereignty at the highest level. Our leaders had a vision decades ago that said, we can take care of ourselves as Navajo people. And look at today. Look at all the fine Navajo professionals that are sitting amongst you today. They heed that teaching. Go to school. Get an education. Come home and help your people. Give these folks a round of applause, these engineers, NTUA engineers, professionals. They could be making money, a lot more money with these various companies that were mentioned, right? But they chose to come home and help their people. And that's what I'm so proud of NTUA. And what my dad instilled in me, I think one of the staff called me an NTUA brat. Who was she? Where's Walter? There she is. I was called out when I was doing the tour, but yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud because you know what? Moms and dads, grandmas, grandpas, relatives that are working here, you're getting your children through college, or first high school, middle school, high school, and then getting them through college with what you are doing today. That is true self-sufficiency. That is true self-reliance, ladies and gentlemen. When I was growing up, my dad would come home from a long day's work. When I was little, he would sit down and he'd be all tired, and I would take off his boots, you know, with those long shoestring boots. I thought those were cool, the way he tied his shoes and all that. And he would always tell me, yeah, I went over there, I went to Delcon. And then when I traveled with him, he would say, these are the names of these areas. Banso kes ajen das nishki kada zeti chehot a nakhal chen yitso ke yinale ke khot aundana ndanati banso da kes ya he tansen do de sheba hensen shje khot ana da shmado naz nasho shdo tra kan desh wastini to eben na che kona tani da shotsa atishne khodona khal chen ajen das nishki khal chen biche أخذ شنا مش لا دبته نويا شدا أخذ أكاديش وستنزل دوزك شو أخذ You know, a lot of us, like I, grew up with my dad telling me his whole day at times, climbing the pole, playing electricity, having those big appreciation dinners by the families. That's how he got to know the local communities and the local clans in the area. And when I traveled with him, he would say, that's the name, that's the Navajo name of that place. The clans are living there. And I would just sit there and say, wow, you know, he knows all this. So those of you that are staff of NTUA, pass that down to your younger generation, to your children, your grandchildren. Don't just keep it with yourself. Because you may inspire your children, your grandchildren to give back as well and to come home and help the Navajo people. You know, I never thought, my dad probably never thought I would be the president of the Navajo Nation, you know, but I always remember that. And I always say, ako ena antine di jinje what ado da ni tina to nan le in ha chin bichi yada ki da dishni ke o ni foni na ti di jinje ben da ni tin do dishna to an di kha dishni da ka di jinje a kwa na ha chin yi so ke na le ke ye ha da ni do le ye chana dan li do le jo kon ba hon na ani hen hit ken hit na ka I je aji ke ka I je di kon hi ken na besh chi sen krishta ni hla bich kadalia e ka chen zonago be da be klik hi ken hi na ba hen she ba hen sen audition. You know, I don't want to take too much time, but I just want to kind of focus on sovereignty, the vision that our leadership had to be self-reliant and self-sufficient. That's a Navajo concept. A little while ago, maybe an hour ago, I was in Ganado, Arizona, talking to the Ganado High School about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and telling them there's a future. There's a future at NTUA for you. Get that engineering degree. Get that science degree. Because here on the Navajo Nation, we need it. Technology is advancing a lot quicker than it used to. And so the need for professionals in that field is very important for the future growth of the Navajo Nation. And when I was telling the students there in Ganado, I said, reach for the stars. Don't give up. And I'd say the same message to all of you here today. Don't give up. Some of us may be here today at a point where there's like, you know what? I can't do it. I can't. I give up. But you know what? Our teaching was you don't talk like that. You know, yada tio, do bin shrak de jeniho. I with it ninde. Nze with it ninde fa. Do hat ya just kita. Ba has tie. Nza ba sen tie. Dan hito ni. Do bi ga hat ni da. Do not ani bi kit ya just kita. Dan hito ni sa. Yi ya ba has tie. Dan hito ni. Ako sa e kung the never care about car treasure sa ni keni match da do ako da ne ya do wins da chko just dan ni hier kodo ka I je bin ga shi yesu se we da bedi no ya da ni do ne sa she wat a ko so ta je ti ya do wins da do na sa she kodo ni hitshna bino ga Bichidina, Konhik Elina, that Glado, Jelon, Jenahot, Ido, Zetsna, Sonigi, Jenahot, Sashikono, Dagi, Hida, Hot Abi, Jenny, Kadhinian, Tianhalo, Kadkodo, El Hal, Shin Binaga, Ainlet abadi no na antinende do be yelt kit da si clean hatta ainol net dan hit nana benda hadis after snow she came clean. Oh, thank you. So we had Sovereignty Week on Monday, and we're doing a Sovereignty Week. It falls in line with a lot of the things we're doing here on Navajo. And I challenge you, as a good leader, you have to challenge your people. We want you to buy local and buy Navajo. I know somebody's already thinking, man, you're out of your mind, President. Taking my gallop away from me. Taking my farming dawn away from me, my weekends. But we're building infrastructure here on the Navajo Nation to support that. We just opened up the Shanto C-Store, Western Agency, Navajo C-Store in Navajo, Arizona, Burnside Shopping Center, Sanders Shopping Center. So we're building infrastructure. I know some would say, well, there's no infrastructure here. We can't buy here. But we're doing our very best to put more businesses here on the Navajo Nation. And for your children too, so that they can come home and open up businesses, right? Here on the Navajo Nation. I want to say thank you to Division of Economic Development for their work. Shar and Tony are here, so give them a round of applause for economic development. $1 billion. But you know what? It's up to us. It's up to us. We have to say enough and spend most of our dollars here. I challenge you, like I said, even 50% of your check that you cash, that you get back, spend it on Navajo. Studies indicate that over 80% of our take-home pay here on Navajo leaves the Navajo Nation within 5 days. Think about that. Is that true? You pay your chitty bill. Does it say Navajo Vehicle Company? No. Then you pay your insurance. Is it Navajo Insurance? No. Then you pay your satellite TV. Is it Navajo Television? No. And then we pay our bills. Most of those, they go already out the door. And the rest that we have, where we go? We're going to town. Let's go. I was teasing about this last time. I said, you know what? During the Sovereignty Day, I'm going to make a road. Since I'm the president, I'm going to roadblock every road around the Navajo Nation. That's sovereignty. I know some of you are not clapping because you know the back roads. You know the back roads, and you're going to be sneaking out of the nation then. But what I'm getting at, ladies and gentlemen, is this, that we have the ability. We have the ability. We don't have to ask, hey, federal government, or Phoenix, or Santa Fe, or Salt Lake City. Even with just buying here more on the Navajo Nation, we could cover this $30 to $50 million budget deficit. It's up to us. That's Tapo Ejitego. That's the vision as well for the NTUA here. And that's what it was all about. So that we can have a utility company that knows the needs of the Navajo people. Let's give NTUA a big, big round of applause. Thank you so much. And so, in conclusion, I congratulate once again to the NTUA headquarters and all the new facilities that are going to be created through this partnership. And, a new facility brings pride in your staff as well. And that's what we want to do for the Navajo Nation too. We want to build more new office facilities on the Navajo Nation. Not just in Window Rock, but in all these regions throughout the Navajo Nation. so that there can be office spaces there for our Navajo Nation employees. So we, constituents, Navajo Nation public, don't have to drive all the way from Tlachi'i to Window Rock just to get something done, right? And some of you know that it takes a long process to get things done. And everything's in Window Rock. It's time to decentralize our Window Rock here to Washington as Aja, and give that responsibility and authority back to the people where it belongs. That's that's true self-reliance. I know it may be scary right now, but we have to do something to empower our people, to make them have hope in our nation, just as we have hope here for the Navajo Travel Utility Authority, that there could be some great things happening, and great things are happening for our Navajo people, electrifying. And you know what? The Navajo people are blessed, guys. Even though there's statistics that say that all these folks don't have power. And if you don't believe me, ask the folks that fly over the Navajo Nation at night. Power all around the Navajo Nation. And if you leave the Navajo Nation, it's just dark out there. Maybe it's because of dark skies, but it's just dark. We are a blessed nation, ladies and gentlemen. Always remember that. And I know we can do better. We can see a stronger and healthier Navajo Nation in the future. So with that, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, leadership, for being here. God bless you. And God bless NTA. God bless our great Navajo Nation. Thank you so much.
President Navajo Nation, Mr. Mayes, Aroya Tadoban, Naha, that's it on the heart, John, no holds a shit like a hat. If I can't, some I get up, I should not, Eddie. I'd like to give the floor to Honorable Wilson Stewart. He's our Fort Defiance Council delegate, and he's also the member of Navajo Nation Resources and Development Committee. Shananta Kurabahagish, Wilson Stewart.
Kayat anos ko si do kasi so kai. Hada so kai inda ta kona si da masinigi so. Kodo niri ya ni na an nigi na stai President Nezigi jahazi ko. Ado kodo ya ta shi shera han nigi na shi JR. Kodo ya ni na shashno. JR in the Hassan shashno ko. Ani ko JR Stewart. Ko an shajagi ebishi ako kwagi oya on his and had see say ya doing quite a dodge Wilson sister junior age ya arashama ebetran age nearly stir on ya aro kodo asia dan the mr nasa be gay so I could council dog and then so quite again okay nani kayako aro don't actually add put something the na age la do nanish education e bashichi don't catch me that's a chain, don't be the point that's not let go. Could our aid and answer. Ara Pado Sata, Ana, so Haji. I think our aid and each other from. But I thought back with answers case 2 years ago, yeah, that so. A Aj, Katnas, a little bit, can give chapter president, a national so. A Aj, about Asianish Ishlana Kino, Nahaja. We thought I quite groundbreaking, that's all clean so. Quite a because from small there out of a school district, other but that they done for it done. Other teachers of Kaigan ribbon cutting long. A doctor for a Kaigan Nahaniganana, Kaban Henson has leadership in 2 different roles as a local leader for the chapter, the leader of Dani Hatzi.
your vote counts, no? For me to be in this position now as a council delegate, to serve and to hear what Mr. Haas had to present, how many families NTUA is helping, and these volunteers that come out to present their talent, their skills to our young people, to show them, coming in from that side, from what they know out there, what they see, and teaching our young people that that's education. Without a construction worker in Lynette, though he had his own business, WC Stewart Construction. Aro Hashim Sabo, Ehin Kudo Ebenan the Sheila, Dosh Jayas Leonard Stewart Bethor. As a lineman. And I remember that yellow truck coming up to the house in the early mornings to have coffee with my dad and then go out into the field. And then other relatives that worked during the summer months or during different times. And now I have my nephews, I call my nephews, young people that have worked under me or I've been out in the community that are working now for NTUA, and I appreciate that opportunity that they have to do something that they love, because when you love your job, you appreciate it. And to sit here amongst you and listen to the leadership speak about what is here within the community, I thought of the development that I see within the community. Growing up here, I've always lived in Port Defiance. I see the development from the old Red Lake Road to highway now that we have that is giving us problems, to the electrical lines being developed, like the President said. Yes, it just says light up Navajo. Yes, we are very fortunate to have electricity. There was a time when you would drive down Sawmill Road, there would be hardly any lights from here to Windrop. Now you drive down at night and you see nothing but lights all the way from here to Windrop. And that's one thing that I see as an improvement. So each day our community is growing, each day it is developing in Santa. And this building, that's for the employees that show their dedication to their work. I know their excitement, I know their feeling of having something new again, to take care of, to cherish again, to say that this is where they work, to say that this is what they're going to do. And it does raise your morale, because as an employee of former employee of Office of Dene Youth, that's how we were. We operated out of a little blue trailer for a long time, being bounced around from office to office for Fort Defiance, and then now getting our own facility with baseball fields and everything, gym and everything, to provide service back to the community. And I have a lot of friends that I've known through that employment that work here at NTUA that volunteer their time as coaches and volunteer their time just to be there and to provide a service to the youth. And there's always that partnership within the communities that I see. And so I appreciate that. And so volunteerism is really good to have, because it doesn't cost anything. And like President Ned said earlier, that's something that we forgot. There's teachings back then that we forgot that we need to bring back. Even somebody just coming over to your home, coming over to be with you, where's that teaching of having them have a cup of coffee or having water for them? That was our teaching back then. Some of us still practice that, and some of us have neglected that. Even for 10-day workers to come by, my mom talks about my grandma doing that. She would provide them lunch, she would feed them snacks. 10-day workers. Now we have a community member within this community that is picking up that same attribute. She made personal visits to the chapter's employees to invite them to her place for a meal, because she's appreciated for what she got from the chapter house, a new wood stove, new walls in her house. And this is an individual that doesn't have much to offer, but yet she put this together. Things like that, that's what we're appreciative of. And I'm grateful to be in a community like that that still practices those things and is still a part of it. And I see it with not only this community, but within the other three communities, Sawmill, Crystal, and Red Lake, that I represent. And I'm very fortunate to be here amongst you again to hear these. And like they said, this is 50 years of growth and development. Let's plan again for another 50 years to get all of our nation lit up, and to have water, electrical, renewable energy. That's where we're going, that's where we're talking as council, where we're going to go with renewable energy. And I always say that I don't know that much about it. I'm going to leave it to the experts to show me, to teach me, because I can be their voice in Windermere, I can be their voice in the state, because that's what my people elected me for, my relatives elected me for that purpose. So thank you for that, and thank you for, and like the President said, you know, we have to run off. Again, we have the state superintendent of schools. Very fortunate to have her here, and I'm very fortunate that Windermere is on her schedule, because as a former alumni of Windermere, just this year we had students get recognized from the DECA Club through the state for business, their entrepreneurship in business, what they see, what they're planning, and they won first place, second place. We have a young lady within the community that is our third-time spelling bee champion, going back again to Washington. Again this year. So accomplishments like that from our youth, that's what I'm proud of too. Any sports and education, whatever they may want to do, I'm proud of those accomplishments they do, because it comes from the home. It comes from the discipline from the home, the influence from the grandparents and parents is what I think about. Because I didn't know that I would be standing here as a leader to you. When it comes from my teachings from my mom, my dad, and Chase. That's where it comes from. She ate a little bit. She just yada tio. The citizen that begin that a just a hal now. A big kahokodo, he does in he not honest a hint in the car. Kudo a here long he didn't go let nana. Aro she not for a hair nana to Alan the Mr. Hart on the board and the funny so a hair. Kudo employees and the back. Once it was case though, the quiz can not she could not hide that she could not eat that the need of need so there's all ye that that's what moves everything. They aren't in the because I thank you for that, and I thank the construction team that put that building together, those hands that built that. Anytime I see construction going up, I always think of my dad and the buildings that he put up in Windermere and across this reservation. Like Nez said, those are stories that my mom tells me too, and my dad would say that too when we were going. And I would go with him out to field. I remember waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, going with him to Navajo Mountain, going with him to Shiprock, Kayenta, to these different housing complexes that he was putting together. And I always liked being with him, and traveling with him, and getting that knowledge from him. When you tell me now to go out and build a house, I'll tell you, I don't know that. Because I picked up a different trait, which is papers and words and whatnot, so I admire that too. So thank you, and I will give this back to my brother, and I do have to take off, but I'll be just right next door to see our secretary. Anyway, thank you.
We want all our council delegates and our Interway board members over at the ribbon cutting. And President of the Navajo Nation is also about to leave, but we want him to do the ribbon cutting. You can stay seated, turn around, and then after the ribbon cutting, we'll continue our agenda here. So,
My mother was the president or started an organization called, yeah, when we were up there. And they helped me. I'm not part of the organization, but I know of it. They have internships, and if other kids, they bring them together. Yeah, well,
Mic check, one. Mic check, mic check.
We're coming back. We're coming back. They said they need you out there, Mama. Hi, former board members. What's your leg?
No, look at over here.
Where?
Ribbon cutting.
That's awesome, isn't it? Have you been in there? She did that. Come on.
One more person.
Just cutting the ribbon. Yeah. Or part right there, look. Inside. Or part inside. I'll be back, Grandma. Careful, Mom, with it. Just careful. Yeah, and your speeches are not going to be. No, there's more speeches. There's more speeches. Wow. Look at it. This is a good sign. I know. Babysitter. Okay, Peter. That's nice. Oh, the power went off? The electric lines.
Yeah.
I think you need to move forward. You know what? Move Grandma right here. And then you can move this stuff forward. Someone put your camera on.
It is so
Okay, now son, move forward. Move your stuff forward. No, move it right here. The handicap. Do that, Grandma. Okay, let's put you right here in the handicap. Now, there you go. Okay. She hasn't removed this. What are you doing? Okay. Apply this the rest of your maker? How are you doing? My comment.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's come back into our seats. Remember, we're live on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Can we wait on the tables? We haven't completed our agenda yet. Wait.
You are me with work. What do you do with your daytime job? Okay. So he can get his camera out of the There's the accent I broke. It's just, are you so proud?
We came right here. From this way.
Yeah. God, stay up all night. So exciting. Well, Walter,
There's another guy.
I think we should. They're interested.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm Tam.
Heavens. That's okay. That's the only reason.
It's
of our special guests and individuals who have been invited to be part of today's celebration. Yate, Shay, Denise Vicente, Nashashan Shnoa, Shinoshchin, Twitchin, Adashan, Shade up, having Sunday, Adashan I'd like to welcome each and every one of you. Thank you for being part of our celebration on this day. The Navajo Nation leadership has left for other events that are going on that also had asked for their participation. So we thank them for being here with us and being able to be part of this very special event. But I'd also like to recognize others who have been here. Representing New Mexico Senator Martin Heinrich's office, Jim Dumont. Representing Arizona Congressman Tom O'Halloran. Representing Utah Congressman John Curtis, Larry Elkerson. NTA board members, Sidney Bob Dietz, board member Belinda Aracho, board member Robert Russell, board member Wynette Arvizo, board member Raymond Holgate, and board members William Claggett and Alton Joe Shepard couldn't be with us here today, but I also would just like to recognize them. Former board members have also joined us today, and I'd like to introduce a very special individual, my aunt, Lillian Avery, who was an NTA board member during the 1970s. And I also would like to introduce, I believe they're hopefully still here, from the Division of Economic Development, Charlene Bugay-Patero and Tony Perry. I also see standing among us, Keelan Yate, welcome, Navajo Nation Office of Broadcast Services. And NTA management team, Deputy General Manager Rex Coots, Deputy General Manager Sir Vini Beningala, Natural Gas Manager Jason Corral, Assistant Manager overseeing the Right-of-Way Department, Bernice Sosi. NTA General Counsel, Arish Malaman. NTA Corporate Attorney, Heather Claw. NTA Chief Executive Officer, Tom Nelson. Or Chief Financial Officer, excuse me. I always do it sometimes. And Deputy CFO, Gerard Curley. And I believe that is SRP Management is here also. Would you please stand up? Caitlin and Hank. Thank you for joining us. And NTA Project Manager Glenn Steiger. Did I forget anyone? Congressman Tom O'Halloran's office, Luther Lee, is here as a representative as well. You're welcome. Thank you. Yes, Glencoe Way Green.
We have some folks from Americas, Bernardo's group.
Okay, we have America's Communications, welcome. And we had also a special video message congratulatory presentation. And from Arizona Senator Siema, Ben Ray Lujan, Mark Gabriel, and Sue Kelly. So we have those video messages, if you could play those.
Hi everyone, I'm sorry I couldn't be with you today in person to celebrate your new headquarters. The Navajo Tribal Utility Authority is critical to providing electricity, water, and gas to the Navajo Nation. Your work ensures Navajo people across over 20,000 miles have access to the affordable utilities they need. While serving the needs of the Navajo Nation, you've grown over the past 50 years into a thriving, tribally owned business and have created good paying jobs for your community. Congratulations on your new corporate office. I'm excited to see all that you will accomplish for the Navajo Nation in the years ahead, and I look forward to continuing our work together.
This is Congressman Ben Ray Lujan. I'm sorry that I could not be with you in person, but I wanted to say congratulations to the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority, NTUA, on the opening of an important facility for 27,000 square miles of the Navajo Nation. The work that NTUA does on a regular basis, ensuring that we have access to important resources like utilities, basic communication, but we're working on advancement when it comes to broadband infrastructure and better use of mobile phone service, water service, wastewater, natural gas, electricity, the importance of what NTUA does every day, and the incredible employees that are part of it. I want to congratulate General Manager Haas for the work that you're doing, the board of NTUA, and the entire Navajo Nation. This is a great day, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. Again, Congressman Ben Ray Lujan saying congratulations.
Good morning. I'm Mark A. Gabriel, the Administrator and CEO of the Western Area Power Administration. I regret not being able to attend today's ceremony in person, but wanted to wish the Navajo Tribal Utility Authority a hearty congratulations on your new corporate office in Fort Defiance. From installing the Kayenta solar farms to working with public power to light up Navajo, NTUA and the Navajo Nation have demonstrated their committed leadership to their people and to an energy future that possesses diverse generation resources. At WAPA, we are about delivering on our mission and supporting our tribal customer. We are honored to call NTUA partners in energy and electricity. NTUA is our largest tribal customer and the 13th largest of our nearly 700 customers across the West. Energized by hydropower, the nation can enjoy the affordable rates WAPA is able to provide as an at-cost federal utility. We achieve some of the lowest electric rates in the Southwest, and that benefit is passed on to the entire nation. As the new energy frontier changes the way Americans think about power, the Native American tribes, and NTUA in particular, have significant opportunities to encourage energy development within the nation and reap the considerable benefits this investment creates. The new corporate headquarters are a symbol of a new path forward for NTUA, one that embraces opportunities for growth and strives for leadership far beyond the boundaries of the Navajo Nation. I look forward to meeting with NTUA and the new offices to discuss how the valuable partnership between WAPA and the Navajo Nation will support a modern, reliable, and resilient grid. Congratulations again to NTUA. Enjoy the rest of your ceremony.
Greetings to my friends and colleagues at NTUA. I know that NTUA was created in 1959 by the Navajo elders and leaders to ensure that everybody on the reservation would have utility services taken care of. Of course, public power, and you are a member of our association, is about affordable energy, better service, and utility that cares about its community because it's owned by that community. And NTUA has exemplified those values. Today, you open a new chapter with the opening of your new headquarters. This is a wonderful milestone. I congratulate you. It will allow you to provide better service to your customers for many years to come. So congratulations again. I wish I could be there. and have a wonderful time at your dedication. Take care.
Thank you. We also got a short note of congratulations from New Mexico Senator Tom Udall. I'd like to read it quickly. Congratulations, Navajo Tribal Utility Authority, General Manager Walter Haas, the Management Board, and the Navajo Nation. Your hard work, dedication to serving your community, and vision are all paying off with today's opening of your new headquarters. After 60 years in operation and over 50 years in your old facility, NTUA certainly deserves a state-of-the-art headquarters. As Vice Chairman of the Senate Indian Affairs Committee, I'm committed to closing the digital divide in Indian country and making sure that all Native communities have access to adequate broadband. And I wholeheartedly commend NTUA for its strong commitment to bring solar energy to tribal lands. Kayenta 1 and 2 mark a critical step in your delivery of renewable energy to your customers and your commitment to meaningfully reduce carbon emissions. Congratulations again on your success, and I look forward to seeing your future accomplishments in your new headquarters. Sincerely and congratulations, New Mexico Senator Tom Udall. And lastly, I'd like for all the NTUA employees to stand up as today is our celebration. So if you could stand up and everybody can see. And I see that we have Corporate Finance District Manager Paula Holyan. She's here. Thank you for joining us. Next to her is Assistant Manager to the Deputy General Manager Rex Kuntz, Rainey Nelson. And Human Resources Manager Rowena Benali.
Thank you, Denise. Denise is my supervisor here at NTUA. And I'd like to thank her for introduction of the recognition of dignitaries and a lot of the other folks here. And then the NTUA staff here. I'd like to have our project remarks here, and I'd like to have Mr. Glenn Steiner, our headquarters project coordinator, come up here.
Thank you. It has been an honor to have been selected to manage the construction of this facility and also our Kayenta solar facilities. And it's been fun, it's been challenged, but you can't do it alone. So I want to thank a few people that were integral to building and managing this facility. We had a really good team here. And the very first person that I want to recognize and thank is Heather Claw. Heather, please stand up. And Heather actually was every bit as much the project manager as I was. I took care of more of the construction side, and Heather took care of everything else. Plus, Heather had the advantage of being here while I could run off to Dilcon and hide when there were problems. So thank you, Heather, for that. I appreciate that. The rest of the team, and we worked hard on getting this project done over the course of a year and a half, was Eileen Noble. And Eileen really was our right-hand person, particularly in getting the bills paid, and that was really important. Jeff Ensity, Travis Patero, Joe Clark, that was the NTUA team. But there were two other members of the team in terms of Flintco, who actually built this facility, and you'll hear a little bit more in a minute from Flintco, and also Dyron Murphy, the architect of this beautiful facility. And the team members there were Sean Williams, Kevin Walker. Kevin still is here today doing the finishing touches of the building. Wade Green, who you're going to hear from in a minute, and Wade took a lot of the flack from us in terms of on a day-to-day basis in getting this facility built. So thank you, Wade. Oscar Tavar, Donovan Murphy, and Ramona Taya. That was the team. We met every week. We got this building built over the course of a year and a half. It's an 86,000 square foot facility, about a $30 million facility, and it's a beautiful addition to the Navajo Nation. We're very, very proud of that. It's a state-of-the-art facility, and you've kind of heard that, but it truly is. It embodies and includes the latest in information technology and communications, security, and security is very, very important these days and getting more important all the time. And we have the latest technology and security with our security manager, Joe Cook, out in the parking lot. I see him out there. Light harvesting. You may have noticed that there's a lot of windows, not only on the outside of the building, but on the inside of the building. And that's there not only just to take advantage of the beautiful views here, but also to take advantage of light. And we are able to make this an energy efficient building by harvesting the available light from the outside and using it as much as we can on the inside. And our HVAC system is also very, very high efficiency. So this is definitely a state-of-the-art building that we're very, very proud of. And finally, I want to just relate to you how important this is for the employees and the residents of this area to see this come to fruition. You've heard that it's 25 years in the making. Well, that's true, and I'm sure over the course of that time frame, a lot of people probably got discouraged that this would never happen, but it did happen. And I was very, very pleased and proud to be part of this and to actually see the transition in our employees as it occurred. And I guess it culminated for me on the day well over a year ago, probably one of the coldest days of the year that we had here, where we had a signing of the final beam that was placed in the building. It was a cold, cold day. There was snow on the ground. I didn't expect too many employees to come out and sign the beam. We had over 100 employees come out here on that cold, cold day. And for me to be part of that and to see how people were just fulfilled and so happy to see this project come to fruition was very, 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 very rewarding for me to see this. So it's not only a project of bricks and mortar, it's a project of fulfillment of something that we've been looking for a long time. I thank Mr. Haas for that, for his vision and his tenacity in getting this done. It takes a lot to get a facility like this built, and keeping in mind that this isn't the only thing that's going on at NTA at this time. You've heard about the other projects, the Light Up Navajo and so on, and also the fact that we were able at the same time of building this building, of building two groundbreaking for Navajo Nation solar projects. I'm proud and pleased to be part of that. I thank you very much, and I'll turn it back.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder. We'd like to have Wade, Mr. Wade Green with Flickco come up here.
My name's Wade Green. I was a superintendent for the general contractor. I was a gentleman in charge of building the new NQA headquarters facility. There were also a few other team members that I'd like to recognize. Vernell Chase was Director of Tribal Relations for Flintco. Sean Williams, the Project Director. Kevin Walker, Quality Control from Kayenta, Arizona. Project Engineer Ramona Taya from Chinle, Arizona. Project Carpenter Freddie Harrison from Chinle, Arizona. I also like to thank Darren Murphy and Associates, who's the architect that did the design team. It was Darren Murphy, president, Oscar Tovar, the principal architect, Vanessa Garcia, who was the design administrator. They were all important, integral parts of building the building. There are also many, many NTUA headquarters and district office contributors to the success of the project. Without Mr. Hawes, and without Glenn, and without Heather, and I started making the list, and it kept going on and on and on, and I said, I need to stop. So, without naming everyone on the owner's side, we recognize and appreciate the collaborative approach to the completion of the state-of-the-art facility. And it really is, as Glenn pointed out, a state-of-the-art facility. This is my point, though. This facility was built by your community and your tribal members. And I would like to highlight a little bit of the Navajo participation statistics here. Mr. Hawes pointed out a few of them. When we started this, we were at 100% utilization of the Navajo workforce. And throughout the project, we got down to 93. But the average utilization of Navajo workforce on this project was 96%. And that is remarkable. The men that physically built the NTUA headquarters, they're your neighbors, they're your relatives. I've been working on the reservation for the last 12 years. Everywhere from Gila River all the way to South Dakota, Lakota Sioux Tribe. And I would like to bring forward and recognize some of the Navajo contractors that work on the building here. We had 33% of the contracts on this project were awarded to Navajo Priority 1 and Priority 2 contractors. For example, Red Sun Builders did all the dirt work. They had all the equipment operators. They did all the concrete work. These are farmers. These are guys that are tying the rebar, concrete finishers. That's 100% Navajo workforce. These guys are good at what they do. They're very, very talented. The steel erectors and the iron workers were from Gallup, all local Navajo, 100% Navajo steel workforce. RLE contracting, framers, carpenters, sheetrock installers, sheetrock finishers, bathrooms, they did all the bathrooms, accessories, and that's 100% Navajo workforce. That group especially has followed me from Gila River all the way to South Dakota on every one of my jobs I requested. The exterior of the building and the American clay finish. So when you see the color and the EVIS on the building and the finish on the interior, this was 3D plastering, but that whole group is right here from Fort Defiance. They live right here next door. Gilbert and Sons Electric, that's a Navajo owned and operated electrical company, all Navajo electricians from the Black Mesa, Window Rock area. And then as you go through the Southwest Glass Glazing, the plumbers, the metal soffit, painters, roofers, ceiling, flooring, all of these trades utilized all local Navajo workers. On top of that, there were no incidents, no accidents. Now I can't lie, we did have a few Band-Aids, but there were no incidents and no accidents. and it was a safe, productive workforce that did the building. Flintco is extremely proud to be a part of this project. We want to thank Mr. Haas, Heather, Glenn, everyone else. The IT department was a large help to us for the opportunity to work on this project. In appreciation, we'd like to present the building with a beaded hammer. And this is a symbol of our community to build our projects with our most valuable resource, the local businesses and the local workforce. God bless you and thank you very much. Mr. Hoff. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Yante.
Okay, I found my reference sheet, so I would like to properly recognize Jeanette Yatar, Oscar Sabelas, and Hernando O'Hara from Americas, Caitlin Libby, Hank Courtright, and Bob Russell from SRP. I also would like to take this time to recognize also Kenneth Craig, who is our former general manager and who has retired from NTUA. So thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Craig, for joining us today for the celebration. Also Monroe Keto, business development manager. Good morning, good afternoon. And Salroy Yazi from the IT department. I also saw former Navajo Nation Council delegate George Arthur, who is also the former chairman of the Navajo Nation Natural Resources and Development Committee. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Well, we saved the best for last. I'd like to give the floor to, for special remarks, Mr. Walter Wolf. Can come up here. Mr. Wolf is our NTUA legal advisor since 1959. Give a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm very privileged to be here on a momentous occasion. I started out with the Navajo tribe in 1957. And here I am 63 years later, and still able to get around and try to say hello. I've been privileged to work with Navajo people for the 60 years that I've been involved with NTUA. I was privileged as a 28 or 29-year-old young man to have presented to the Navajo Tribal Council the resolution which created this wonderful organization. We've had 6 general managers along the way. Started with Vance Vanderhoof, who was an aggressive builder who started building power lines before we even had the power to put in them. But we got there. When he left, Cletus Mac Eddy became general manager, and he got us started. We created a management board, and the first meeting of the board was in 1966, March. I happened to be able to be present for that one also. And following Mac Eddy's departure in 1972, Malcolm P. Dalton, Mickey Dalton, was selected as general manager. And as Mr. Haas has mentioned earlier, Mickey's family, his wife's family, were the users of this wonderful area and following his work. He was followed by a Sioux Indian, Randy Medicine Bear, who was general manager for 4.5 years. And when Mr. Medicine Bear left the office, my good friend Ken Craig was appointed to replace him and carry on the management. All of this led up to our current general manager, Wally Haas, who earlier this morning you heard information about his opportunity and what he has done for this organization. We wouldn't be here enjoying it without his perseverance and his hard work in bringing about this new wonderful facility. I'm afraid I've taken too long. We're now reached the point where it's time to stop and go forward with lunch. Thank you very much for being here, and thank you for your attention to this organization. We're doing a great job, and we'll continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wolf, for your service to NTUA and to the Navajo Nation. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Folks, this concludes our this afternoon's ceremony. If you have not been served yet, there's lunch being served in the cafeteria. There's a dining room over there, kitchen tables, and then there's some tables here. We can bring some trays out here if you can just get a table, sit to a table. And then after you eat, about around 1 o'clock, we have some team ready to escort and give you a tour of our NTUA building. So 1 o'clock on, we have our tours for the rest of the day. Thank you, folks. Thank you for being here, enjoying our event, celebrating our open house, and then all our land users, permit holders. This is a blessing. Rain. That's a blessing. Yat ehi don meso. Jo ekut awes konnosen. Danoya dahin akoya ekut kanji ingenu asiti. So it's kahas kushik edan of shunana ekeha. Hope you enjoy your the rest of the afternoon. Enjoy your lunch. God bless you, each and every one of you.